been like in the low 90s in wins, and oh yeah, you got your 600th. Congratulations!
Thank you. Toughest 600 to get to this season, wasn't it?
Wow, yeah. Let's begin. What a game with the Monmouth game. A wild game. You fall behind 4-0 in the first. Schmidt just didn't have her stuff. Got knocked out in the first. Your girls keep fighting back. You pull within 4-3. They go to 6-3. You fight back. Patrice Fee hits a home run. It's a battle there, but then it looks like it's getting away from you again. 6th inning. It's like, here you go again. 9-5, but your girls kept fighting. Pull within 9-7, and then your senior, Abby McLean, the 2-run homer, ties the game up at 9-9. Let's start with the fact you're down 9-5, but your girls kept fighting.
I think that was the biggest part of it, and being able to get Lacey in too in the 6th inning and kind of close things up. I think that helps the girls with some confidence on defense. She did a great job coming in, closing up some batters, getting some strikeouts for us, and just gave us kind of the push that we needed offensively to get things rolling.
Now, later you go international roles, emotional game. You got runners in score position. Calls are interesting, and you fall behind 10-9. You send though Menendez. She avoids the tag, ties the game 10-10, and you pull it out though. How big was that to pull out a game like that all year? It seems you just come up short. Pull that win out against the Monmouth team who's hitting the ball well, and Lacey Denny, you mentioned come in relief. We'll get more on her later, but comes back and get a great win against Monmouth 11-10.
Yeah, and I think that's what we've been fighting for all season long, is just trying to realize that you have heart. You know, we talk about that all the time, is you got to go out there and just be competitive when you go out there, and we just haven't had that competitive edge in a lot of our games early on this season. And to be able to go out and stay on them and keep fighting even going into 10 innings, I think the girls needed that to realize they can do it. And then you notice in the second game they were fighting, just like in the first game. And they're starting to realize that they can believe in each other and trust in each other and back each other up. And I think now we're kind of turning that corner with understanding how to play for each other, how to work for each other, and then fight. You know, that's the biggest thing we finally saw. This is the first game in a long time we've seen where they're fighting for the game. They want it. And I'm just excited about it. I'm excited to see that in them and see them excited about competing. So
you win the first game in a wild game, emotional game, 11-10, back and forth. Now you got to get ready for a FAMU team that's very good. They beat us earlier in the year. You decide to go back to Lacey Denny, even though she went 5+ innings in relief. Take me through that process. I know you talked to her in between games. Take me through that decision making.
Well, we hoped that we didn't have to use her in the first game. That was the biggest thing. We knew when we had to put her in and close her that it was going to be tough for her to go and then go extra innings with her. You know, having her pitch 5 innings in that game wasn't exactly what we had mapped out for her. But we talked about her before. Says she's got to be our workhorse right now. You know, she's getting strikeouts for us. She's making things happen defensively for us. You know, we've got to have that pitcher in the mound that's ready to go after it and get some strikeouts for us. You know, we've been averaging 2 strikeouts a game. That's not getting us anywhere out of 21 outs. You know, we're averaging 4 walks a game, and that's killing us. So we just focus on, you got to throw strikes, you got to get ahead of the batters, and you got to give us a chance. And she came out and ended up with 14 strikeouts in her 12 innings of play, and that's what we needed. We needed her to come in and be able to be a workhorse. And it was kind of funny because I talked to her dad before I came up here and says she's used to only throwing 1 game at a time. It's like, well, she's learning that she can throw back-to-back games.
Right, and I talked to her about that, and it was very interesting. I talked to her on Tuesday night after the doubleheader, and I talked to her about it, throwing the Michigan game. She said, yeah, I learned something there. I got to be prepared to throw a second game on the same day because they might need me there. So from a stamina standpoint, she learned a lot, and I think that was one of the reasons why you threw her in that Michigan game. Even though it was out of hand, I think you wanted her to get that experience, didn't you?
Absolutely. We've been trying to battle with our pitchers right now this season on how long they can go, who we can keep in there for 5, 6, 7 innings. And we've been battling about 4 innings and having to make switches, and it was good to see that. Last week we had Dero go. I guess it was yesterday. Dero ended up going 7 innings in her game, and then Lacey coming out and being able to throw 7 innings in her game, and they're starting to understand they have the ability to do that, and it was huge to be able to see her go back-to-back games and understand that it's no big deal. She can do that.
And this could be a day that not only turns her around, gets her more confident, but gets the team more confident. Could this be a day that kind of turns the season on the uptick? Perfect timing, a week before conference play, when you start from scratch, 0-0. The girls may have learned something today. 2 wins, battling out. They fought, and Lacey Denny, I got to believe, has a lot more confidence than she did going into today.
She definitely does, and I think the players behind her have, like you said, a lot more confidence too. When we can get a few strikeouts in a game and eliminate a few of those 21 outs and allowing our pitchers to take care of a few of those outs, that's huge for our defense. And being able to get up on the batter so we're not back on our heels with a 2-0 count going into it. I mean, that's really tough on a defense to be able to battle. And we talked a lot about that. It's like, what kind of team are we right now? And it's right now we've got to make every play. We've got to have the ball in play. 20 up to 21 outs, and we've got to be prepared for that. But having a pitcher that can take a few of those strikeouts definitely eases some of that stress that we were feeling earlier.
Let's talk about your senior catcher, Abby McLean. What a day for her! Tremendous day against Monmouth. Hit the 2-run homer in the bottom of the 7th to tie the game up at 7-7. Keeps you going. Maybe the hit that turns the season around. Who knows? And then in the second game against FAMU, she gets the offensive going. Got stymied for the first 3 innings. She hits an RBI triple to tie the game. What can you say about McLean that hasn't been said?
I just like to know you've got all these stats in your head, because this is fantastic. And you're right, Abby just is a clutch player. We joked about having runners at first and second with no outs. And in that situation, 90% of the coaches are going to be bunting her over. But Abby, you just don't do that. You know that she's going to be able to do something at the plate, make something happen. And she's the one person right now that we have on this team that you feel that she's going to make something happen with every at bat. She's just so solid, and a huge game for her. But you look at Natalie. Natalie had a great game along with her. Kelly, starting to see 1 through 9 starting to come up. Patrice
hit a home run earlier against Monmouth. Yeah.
And we talked about that earlier. We're getting 1 through 5, 1 through 6, and not getting a lot from production from the bottom of our lineup. And now you're starting to see in both these games we're seeing production all the way through the lineup, and that makes a huge difference offensively too.
And that's the thing. Your offense has swung the bats well. Has left runners at base. That's been the issue throughout the season, but it's hit for pretty well. So now if you can get the pitching settled down, you got to feel with the lineup you've got. You got Natalie now at the cleanup. I know you made some of those, a couple of the adjustments. You moved Tiffany up in the order. Abby's in the 5 spot. Talk about the lineup adjustments you've made.
We're just trying to find the right fit. Tani was in the 2 spot for a while, and Tiffany was in the 9 spot. Just was struggling a little bit earlier on. Felt like we needed her speed, and having a lefty going 1, 2, 3 for us was huge. With Allie starting off, and she struggled a little bit in this game, but she's got it. She was just trying to do a little too much at the plate instead of forcing the pitcher to come at her, and she was reaching a lot of those outside pitches. But Allie's always a constant. We know in the leadoff spot she's going to be solid, and Tiffany behind her is going to make a lot of things happen with that kind of speed, and then Tani behind her with speed. It's a nice combination to get your first 3, and then you're looking at your hitters. You've got Natalie with Abby and Vanessa and Marissa. That's a great combination to have, that you're going all the way through the 9 spot now that we didn't have probably 2 weeks ago.
So you get your 600th win. What does that number mean to you, obviously? You've coached a while there. We talked yesterday, Eventuard retired, announced her retirement.
What are you saying? It's time to retire?
No, I'm just saying. It's not easy getting wins. She's got over 12.
As you see this year, it wasn't easy getting wins.
Right, but you get 600 wins in your career. Give me your thoughts on that now. You've had a chance to sink in. It was announced there. 600 wins in your career. I'm just glad to see that with the 599 and 600 that it was a good play, that the girls stepped up, and I feel like the way they're playing right now, they're getting their confidence back and realizing they've got some consistency now with the lineup and with the defense, that they're ready to roll. We've got conference coming in next weekend. We've got North Carolina and Ball State on Tuesday, but our biggest thing that we always talk about is conference. We have to be prepared to go into conference play, and if we can continue to play like we did today, we're going to be all right in conference. You're just dodging the question. 600's all about the girls. Look at you. It is. Very good. Very good. Don't worry. The stress part. You're just trying to make me feel old. The 600. No. See, dealing with me for 5 years is kind of the more stressful part there. All right, Coach Gillispie, congrats on the wins. Enjoy. We'll see you Tuesday. Head coach Renee Luers-Gillispie joining us on the postgame show, and that will do it from here. I cut that off.